Okay, let's get into this one right here. As we all know, yesterday, LeBron James pulled that stunt. And a lot of people thought he was going to retire. And he didn't. He pulled his latest stunt. And I got to say, man, a lot of reaction is the same about LeBron James. And I don't care. I'm going to keep promoting what I feel. I'm going to keep saying what I feel about the situation, which in turn really leaves me, kind of solo in this, kind of leaves me alone in what I believe is the truth. Now, what other people believe, that's fine, but I don't know, man. It's not unique to me. I used to think the same way that a lot of these other guys thought, and then you really have to dig deep. And you really don't have to dig deep, but you just gotta accept the facts that LeBron James isn't behind none of this per se on his own. He's just not. It's been the NBA and the Players Association that has done this, that has pushed this, that has been okay with it since it began until this day. For example, they basically forced Michael Jordan out of the league. They forced Michael Jordan out of the league so other teams could play. Win. Other superstars could win. They forced Michael Jordan out of the league. Think about what they try to tell you. And because people aren't able to use their own thoughts, they just, yeah, that makes sense. A team, the Chicago Bulls, just won another three-peat, their second three-peat, and were flying high. And for, I think, like 2 years, this was the second year after the third ring in a row, basically 97 and 98, they have been saying they don't want to bring back Phil Jackson, don't want to give Scottie Pippen more money, which would equal Phil Jackson not coming back if either of those guys wasn't coming back. Michael Jordan wasn't going to come back if either of those guys wasn't going to be there. How does that make any sense? They can bring you some weak-ass story to try to cover that up. But if you got to think in mind, we're not asking you to go work for NASA. But with just a couple of thinking brain cells, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody just ruins a dynasty and don't want to move on with it. And the biggest thing is, why would you ruin money? Why would you ruin money? Michael Jordan, all that money he was bringing in, the Bulls as a whole, as a team bringing in that type of money, and Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen being one of the clogs, being one of the moving forces of this team since it started to win championships. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? What was the real differences? They really never told you the real differences between Phil Jackson and Jerry Krause. What is the real differences if you're winning and you're bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars? Therefore, I'm just saying, you know what's going to happen. So if you get rid of Phil Jackson and Scottie Pippen, it's over. Michael Jordan ain't returning, and you lose hundreds of millions of dollars a year moving forward. Huh? Sounds like the dumbest thing. Business people don't think like this, man. But it wasn't up to Jerry Krause in Reinsdorf. It was up to the NBA as a whole to get these guys the hell out of there, or to break that team up. And the only way you can break the team up and stop them from winning is get Michael Jordan to stop playing. Michael Jordan, I'm sorry, guys. He can come out and tell you this lie. This is just about business. Business is business. They had it from a real business perspective. They had if it was just up to them, the Chicago Bulls organization, Jerry Krause, Reinsdorf, they guess what? They would not have broke up that team. But it was up to the NBA as a whole, the owners, the Players Association, to move on. They weren't going to lose. I can guarantee you the next season, that team would have stayed together in a short striking season with Michael Jordan getting a rest, Scottie Pippen getting a rest, all those guys on the Bulls getting a rest, they would have won the championship again. They would have won the championship again. Nobody was going to beat them. You didn't need to. That was a dead ball era. You didn't need too much offense, so they wasn't really worried about young legs beating them. We already see who was going to the finals in the who went to the finals in '98. Old legs. Who went in '97? Old legs. Who went in '99? Basically old legs. When you look at who was it? The Knicks and the Spurs, except for Duncan. Old legs. Because it was a dead ball era. You didn't need young legs to win. And frankly, if you look at it, that kind of continued into the 2000s, early 2000s. It was a dead ball era. It wasn't about you getting really beat on offense because defense was trumping offense all day. Defense was trumping offense all damn day. So, again, when I tell you guys about, Michael Jordan being pushed out by the NBA as a whole, folks, not the Bulls organization, some little story they told you to cover it up, and nobody never asked, this and that and that and this, because they just took it as, Jerry Krause was the bad guy and they moved on. And that story had been playing out for 2 years. So, to a lot of people, it made sense. So when we talk about this LeBron James thing, let's talk about it. LeBron James does not run, control, or dictate the NBA. Never has, never will. No other player in history has. I don't care how good they was. No player or players controlled or dictated the NBA. They did it. It wasn't. So LeBron James is not doing this by himself. We're giving this guy way too much credit for something he isn't doing on his own. And maybe he didn't even come up with this. I don't think he's never even came up with how he acts, what he's doing, any of this stuff, folks. He's getting too much credit from a lot of people on social media for something that he didn't even create. Okay? For instance, when you take the super team era with LeBron James, right? Remember, this is a business. You have owners of these teams. Do the owners want to compete? Do they want to compete? Do they want to win championships? Do they want to bring their fan base that pays these players? Remember, the owners don't pay the players. That's what you guys have been trained. Well, I don't know about myself, but this is what these fans have been trained. And a lot of people have been trained to think, because, people like Stephen A. Smith and, a lot of these dudes will train you in the mind to think these kind of things. That the owners are making all this money and the owners pay these players. No, the consumer, the fans pay the players. They ain't got no money without the fans. They ain't got no money to pay these players. LeBron James or the owners, let's just say the owners for now. What happened when LeBron James went to Miami? What did the owners say? They don't want to compete. They don't want to win. They don't want to bring championships to the fan base. They're spending all this money, spending $50 for a hot dog, $300 for parking, $20 for cotton candy, $80 for one alcohol drink. They don't want to bring these fans a championship. So LeBron James has had 3 super teams in his career. What did the owners say when LeBron James went to Miami? Especially the owners in the East, when he took the power out of the East, right? Remember, it really wasn't he was taking the power out of the East. The East wasn't really a threat to him no more. Not even the big 3 Celtics. He already had the number 1 seed 2 years in a row over them. That wasn't the threat. Because if they was who they, we are told who they were, they would have kept getting the number 1 seed in the East after 2008. No, they wasn't even close to getting the number 1 seed after 2008, right? So they wasn't the threat. So he wasn't shut down the East because when he went and built that super team, it wasn't because he was threatened by the Celtics or the Magic. He was supposed to beat both of them. Everybody knows he had a better team, had a way better record in the regular season against those teams, whatever. It was just in case he met up with Miami, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Suns, whoever was going to come out that West, it didn't matter. They was going to kick his ass if he was with Cleveland. That was the problem. Whoever he was with was going to kick his ass coming out that West. That's why he had to build that super team. He wasn't worried about the East, and that's why we always said he wasn't going back to the finals after what happened in 2007 in that big meltdown. He wasn't going back to the finals. That's why he took Boston to a game 7 in 2008. And if he just shot 45% in that series, they would have won. They would have been going back to the finals. He didn't want to go back. He melted down against the Magic. He didn't want to go back to the finals. He melted down against the Celtics. He didn't want to go back. And we found out the next day on First Take from Skip Bayless that he said at the beginning of the 2009-2010 season, he was going to wear the number 6 the next season. Why would he wear the number 6? Well, we found out he was going to Miami about a month and a half later, right? Might have been a little bit longer than that. And it was already premeditated that he was going to wear the number 6 the next season because he couldn't wear the number 23 in Miami because they retired the 23, remember? So it was already premeditated that he would lose in 2009, 2010, just in case he had to face. It didn't matter who he was going to face. Maybe it would have been Kobe, which would have been, we would not even talk about this guy to this day. Why we are, I don't know why. But I'm going to explain to you a little bit why, we're still talking about this guy. They're like trying to, reverse reality on people's thinking just to make money. They don't have any greatness to sell you in the NBA. They don't, like I said, I'm gonna keep showing you and telling you they don't. So where was the pushback from the owners? How come they didn't say, I'm building a super team? I'm building a super team. I want to win too. I'm going to build a super team. So this guy, according to the Players Association, I don't care if he's a free agent or not. You can't take the greatest of all time route and be considered in there with those guys if you're doing it wrong. The old ass Big Three Celtics, who only went to the finals. Well, they went to the finals 2 times. They weren't even supposed to go, but 1 time because LeBron James choked down in 2010. But they only won 1 championship in like 6 years together after coming together after they're like 12th, 13th, 10th season and stuff like that. Didn't even win an MVP. That's how mighty they was. No, none of them guys won an MVP together. None of them. And to me, it took Bynum to be hurt for them to beat Kobe. Seriously. It took Andrew Bynum to be hurt for them to beat Kobe. Nevertheless, no pushback from the owners. Really no pushback from the players, as I can remember. And no pushback from the media. Actually, the media celebrated it. The media celebrated it by having this guy have a special announcement on TV at the Boys and Girls Club showing the youth, this is what you do when you don't want to compete. This is what you do when you quit. This is what you do when you couldn't be on that level of the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, and all these other great players. You leave your team and you cheat and you build super teams. This is what the media and ESPN pushed by having that decision. And you heard when he said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach, you could hear the children in the background go, oh. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it that this guy was quitting like that. And he wasn't going to lead a team because I told you, you can't be a leader playing with other number ones. Other teams' number 1 franchise players. You're just another leader amongst leaders. That's it. At that point, the game became a mockery. The NBA became a mockery, and that's it. That's all the NBA had to offer you moving forward. If you think they've been having something else to push forward, and at that point, they, like I said, they were still scared. This guy was still scared to face the music. He had to have that super team. You saw what happened with Tim Duncan. He barely beat him. You saw what happened with the Mavs. He got destroyed. Then he got destroyed again in 2015, 17, 18. Super team against super team against no super team. and he still gets destroyed. My point is, no pushback from the owners or nothing. Where's their super teams? How come they can't build super teams? I ain't just talking about, the Golden State Warriors in 17, 18. That was like a last resort. That was the last resort right there. That was the last resort. All these teams should have built super teams that have a fair playing field. To have an even playing field, all the teams should have just built super teams. Why are you just going to let this guy play the whole damn league with his super teams? Year after year after year in his prime. Make that make sense, folks. Make that make sense. And then when he gets his ass kicked, you move on with him like he didn't get his ass kicked, like he didn't cheat, like he didn't come out of super team era. What was it, 3 and 5? I think it was 3 and 5. He was 3 and 5. Out of 8 straight finals trips, he only won 3. Damn. So you had your chance. They even gave this guy the bubble championship. They even gave him the bubble championship. Where are the owners? Where are the Players Association condemning this stuff? His shenanigans. All the stuff he pulls. Him being a clown. Him disrespecting the past eras. Where are the owners and where's the Players Association? These owners are not NBA fans. They don't respect the history of the NBA. None of it. Or they would have stopped this a long time ago. All they care about is money. That's all they care about. LeBron James has been used as a clown for the last 10 years. Nobody else wants to step up and be the clown. I mean, this is all they got, folks. They keep their league alive is a clown in the media literally lying to people. The media. When I say media, Fox Sports, ESPN, all these dudes literally, even the LeBron James fans don't even believe what the media says about LeBron James. Because it's not there. It don't exist. You can't verify it. You can't verify these things that these guys say. These are just made up imaginary things. His career is a lie, so they'll just make up a lie. And all these guys have did, the media, which they call them the media, you did nothing but destroy the NBA. Because if this is the pinnacle, LeBron James is this is the second or greatest player of all time. This is bad. This is bad. And like I said, have fun. Have fun. Do you really want LeBron James to retire? I asked the YouTubers that have platforms talking about LeBron James. Do you really want LeBron James to retire? Because when he retires, the NBA is done. It's MLB style. Ain't none of these guys here to bring it back. I'm talking about the 2020 guys. They're not here to bring it back. They can't even promote their own 2020s era. We going into 2025, 26. Okay?
I didn't understand what you said.
We're going into that.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Say something like.
This car tripping. Anyways. Yeah.
Cancel.
Yeah, cancel it. Anyways. Like I said, they don't want this guy to retire. They don't. The NBA is. I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you right now. The NBA is going to look weird. The ratings are the ratings right now with this guy still playing in the league. It's not like, they're using this guy's greatness. They're not. They're trying to be funny when they say this stuff. But his greatness ain't selling the NBA. Or his greatness isn't keeping the NBA talked about. It's the fact that they talk about this guy is still playing on a high level. but you don't see it. So basically, again, they're lying into your face to get a reaction, to get triggers. That's it. That's all they have to sell the NBA off of anymore. Trigger. So we've been doing this for a long time with LeBron James. The failing, the choking, the melting down, the super team building, the media lying, the trigger. It's been going on for a long time, right? So you expect when this guy retires, the NBA is going to be better because he retires? But yet you've been used to this same stuff I just said for the past 10 years? Oh no. Oh no. It's going to be a wrap. You can't get past. You've been selling your league based on a clown show the past 10 years. You know why the NBA took a dip in ratings when Michael Jordan retired? Because it was being sold on greatness, high level greatness. And I'm not trying to say that these guys that kept playing in the 2000s weren't great, but Michael Jordan just came off a damn 6-peat or 6-peat, 2 3-peats. In Michael Jordan, it's the 90s, man. Michael Jordan, the most famous person in the world, I think, besides Michael Jackson at that point. Nobody else. Nobody else. For greatness on top of that. So yeah, that's why, it kind of took a dip, the NBA. And plus when Michael Jordan retired, a lot of these other guys too that played in the late 80s, the Charles Barkley, the Patrick Ewings, the Kings, a lot of these guys were they were older. They were older now, man. They were older. And most of the talent, the great talent, was on the West Coast. The West Coast had the better teams. And before, for a long time, it was the East Coast. And the majority of the population, especially back then, it is still now, but especially back then, most of the population was on the East Coast. So the NBA had to be losing ratings just because Michael Jordan was getting older. A lot of them other guys that played with him, when Michael Jordan retired, a lot of those other guys were getting older. And then, the East Coast, Eastern Conference just wasn't the same. So they was losing a lot of viewership because a lot of people on the East didn't have access to them West Coast games or didn't want to stay up to watch a lot of them West Coast games. I'm being serious. I'm not trying to say that's a complete downfall, but you just got to think. And to me, the West Coast, or the West, in Michael Jordan's second three-peat, I think it was just a better conference. It was better than the East. It was better than the East. And they showed it because Michael Jordan retired and Hakeem won back-to-back. And whoever would have beat Hakeem, I think, would have won it too, if he would have never made it to the finals. But he did. And then when Michael Jordan retired, guess what? The West just went crazy, rolling off all those championships. It was nuts. And Michael Jordan, he was able to beat the West 3 times in his second three-peat. Nevertheless, these are the games that LeBron James is allowed to play because this is on the Players Association and the owners. This is all they got. This is all they got. These 2020 players, Giannis, Greek Freak, Luka, Joker, they cannot carry their own weight. If they could carry their own weight, LeBron James would have been gone a long time ago, folks. He would have been gone. And when he's gone, this shit is, and his son is bringing more talk to the NBA than Joker, Luka, Giannis, SGA. What do they bring? What have you, okay, you talked about skinny Luka. What else with Joker in this all season? SGA, where the hell are these guys at? Giannis, where they at? They go back home. They're not interested in promoting the American NBA. They're here to get a paycheck and then go back home and play in the EuroLeague. And then you look at Luka, he can't even damn play. He's sitting on the bench in preseason because he's dead ass tired. He's tired. He's tired. So this is on these 2020 guys too. They're not pushing their era. Most of these guys come from the 2010s. And now they're in the 2020s. Or they came right at 2020. You're 5 years into your era. All these guys, from the David Robinsons to the Hakeems, to the Michael Jordans, to the John Stocktons, to the Clyde, they was able to push the league from 89 all the way through the 90s. They didn't need Bird and Magic pushing the damn 90s. They did it. They didn't need Bird and Magic pushing the 90s. And damn sure, if they was going to do it, it wasn't going to be on the Clown Show act. Like LeBron James is pushing the 2020s on the Clown Show. Where are these guys at pushing the NBA? Where they at? Where's the Anthony Edwards? Where's the Tatums? Where's the Jokers? Where's the SGAs? Where's the Victor Wembanyama's? Where's the Joel Embiid's? This is their era. Where you at? If you ain't being talked about over LeBron James, you ain't pushing your era. If you ain't being talked about over Bronny James, who ain't did a damn thing, then this is not your, because, this is your era. Where are you at? This is what you got with these international players that want to be at the forefront of an American game in the United States. We told you what happened with baseball. Once all that steroid shit, smoke screen cleared, you looked up and you just had a whole bunch of international players who can't speak English, who can't promote the game, like the American players did in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. So what I'm trying to tell you again and again, when LeBron James leaves, because they have sold their game based on what? A clown show, doing it wrong, failing, cheating, all this stuff for the last 10 years, you don't have no American faces at the top 5, it's going to fall off the map. The fans are not, the viewership, it done spoke. They're not impressed with Luka, SGA, Joker, Giannis. They're not impressed. American people are not impressed. These aren't the first greatest players we ever seen. These top 5, not the second greatest top 5, not the third, not the fourth, not the fifth. Nobody's buying it. It is why LeBron James, via the owners and the Players Association, is still around for the Clown Act. Bosch retired. All his whole class retired. And then guys even came in after him, done retired. They even, what you think, Clutch Sports? You think Clutch Sports ain't part of the NBA media? It's fake. This is something set up by the NBA just to piss people off. If they said when it first started, we don't want Clutch Sports affiliated with the NBA, that would have been it. The NBA runs the NBA, guys. LeBron James don't run the NBA. LeBron James is only around because this is what the NBA wants. They ain't got no choice. They dead in the damn water when this guy retires. I'm talking to you like a person. I'm not a robot. This ain't AI. This ain't the same opinion. This is real talk, folks. This is based on the numbers. This is based on what we've seen the past 10, 20 years, or since the NBA done existed. The NBA is in hot dog water. Meaning it's over. It's a wrap. See you later. Thanks for coming. That's it. So to me, don't be surprised if this Clown Act plays another 3-4 years. And don't be surprised, like I told you, ain't none of these, I want to prove it, that any of these other guys is winning the championship in the 2020s, who won the championship in the 2020s. It ain't gonna happen. Not as long as LeBron James is playing. Because it's going to make him look crazy. Yeah, Luka might win one with LeBron James on the team, and Luka gets or LeBron James gets the finals MVP. They don't care. Greatness is over, folks. They don't care about greatness. That was flushed down a stall a long time ago when this guy went to Miami. Greatness. Greatness. The only reason why the media lies, ESPN, Fox, and whatever you turn around, is because this is their job. If they don't lie, the NBA is going to go down even more. Even with them lying, it's still going down the drain every single year. Imagine if social media platforms wasn't talking about where would the NBA be at? If social media platforms wasn't talking about the NBA, it don't matter how good or bad they're talking about them, especially the bad. Where would the NBA be at? It would be, I'm trying to tell you, it would be MLB style. Nobody would care. Maybe a lot of you young people don't understand this, and I might not understand a lot of stuff if I weren't there neither. The only thing that was keeping baseball alive when they kicked all the American players out I would say about starting in the late 2000s was the Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Jose Canseco, all those guys in the steroid scandal, Clemens, all those guys. That's the only thing that kept baseball alive, folks. I promise you, when that thing was over, and I want to say Barry Bonds was the last guy that went out there, if I ain't mistaken. I might be wrong, but when that smoke cleared with those guys, baseball was literally over after that, folks. It was just like baseball disappeared overnight. Trust me when I tell you, you wouldn't even think that. Where baseball is today, you wouldn't even imagine that in the 90s, the 80s, even the early 2000s. Or the 70s, the 60s. Baseball used to be America's pastime, folks. The biggest names you ever knew. Baseball was so appreciated because it was a technical sport. It was a tough sport to play. You just can't even imagine it. So what I'm trying to say is, it wasn't just a steroid scandal thing that ended baseball. It was the fact that they kicked all the American players out, especially the black players. So this is what I'm trying to say. The whole steroid scandal was just a smokescreen, not to get your mind off of. They was putting all the American players out, or not drafting them, not bringing them back to the MLB, and bringing in international players for the cheap. So this is what I'm trying to tell you about the NBA. I'm just trust me. When LeBron James retires, I don't know when it's going to be, because he's been having the most meaningless seasons forever. And they've been saying this guy has been playing at all-time great levels, because this is all planned by the liars in the media to keep him afloat. As long as they're saying it, it's all good. It don't matter what you see with your own eyes. They're telling you that your eyes are lying, folks. From the play-by-play guys to the analysts to all these people on ESPN and Fox, they're telling you your eyes are lying to you about LeBron James. Let us tell you what you see. So anyways, mark my words on it. Whenever it's already going down the drain. It's already going down the NBA. But when he leaves, it's going to fall off the damn cliff like MLB. It's going to fall off the cliff. Because now you're going to have your top guys who are international, and a lot of them are in their prime right now and are not pushing the NBA product. They have a clown show in his son, Clown Show Jr., pushing the NBA product. You better hope the hell Bronny is going to be able to push this thing on his own, because these international players ain't doing it in the United States. Again, most of them don't want nothing to do with the United States. They just collect their check and go back home on the off season. I never seen that in the 80s. I never seen that in the 2000s. I never seen that in the 70s. No. The top players in the league was all about promotion, pushing the American game in the United States. And I'm not trying to say you have to be from the United States to push the NBA. I'm not trying to say that. All I'm trying to say is, where's the real promotion from these guys pushing the NBA as whatever country you're from? I'm cool with whatever country they're from. I'm just saying, where are you as the top 5 players pushing the NBA product? You're just there. You're not pushing it. You're not pushing it on McDonald's commercials, Gatorade commercials, Nike commercials. Where are these guys at? Where they at? I don't see it. And again, this is another reason why they're trying to bring over the most ridiculous thing you ever heard. That's how you know the NBA is over. You're gonna have international leagues, well, Euro leagues, play NBA, well, play in the NBA playoffs. What? So wait. So you get a chance to win the NBA championship, even though you played in your league. So what are they going to do? They're going to say, okay, in the Euro League, these guys made the playoffs. In the NBA, these guys made the playoffs. Now the Euro League playoff teams get to play the NBA playoff teams. So what is this? You can't call it an NBA championship. What are you going to call it? A World Cup championship? I don't understand that. And these guys over here in the Euro League, it's not like back in the 90s where these guys wasn't good enough to make the NBA. That's why they didn't get picked, or why they had to keep playing over there. No doubt, we did have some, Euro League players back in the day, but we had the best of the Euro League players. So what are you going to do? You're going to be playing NBA players against Euro players? They'll get destroyed. The best Euro players play in the United States. It's just the facts. The players that play in the Euro League are guys who can't make the NBA. So why would Adam Dummer and Dummer do something like that? Because the NBA is finished, bro. The NBA is done. They already see the writing on the wall. Just like when Biden brought in all these people for 4 years and let them run across the border. What was that for? Because the population in the United States was dying off and it wasn't replacing. So they need people to do these jobs. They need people to live in these houses, live in these apartments, buy these products, get licenses at the DMV, get all kind of, it's all kind of companies and corporations in departments that need to keep making money. And if Americans or foundational Americans aren't having more children, a lot of those jobs are going to dry up. So that's why Biden let all the people cross the border. They don't just do shit on accident. They're looking at what's going on and how they can keep making money. And if they're looking at the population, they have all the records, and they can say 10 years ago, oh, these people only have 0 to 1 kid. Or 20 years ago, these people only had such and such kids. So when we calculate this, we're going to see, houses abandoned, jobs abandoned, these companies go down, this merchandise ain't being sold, this, that. So they start bringing in all these people. But they ain't going to be truthful about it. It's like the NBA. They're not going to be truthful about it. And what's the truth? If they don't get the the international viewership, they're finished. It's their last stand. They're not looking at, it's a company. They're looking at money in the future. If they don't get these, American people ain't having it. They wasn't buying the LeBron James era, the 210s, this Euro era, the 2020s. They're not getting the ratings, folks. Just to keep this NBA afloat, they're going to need the international ratings. Hell, they already have to lie to you and tell you these guys are making record-breaking contracts. They're making all this money, and then they're fighting to put on makeup and work at a damn desk when they retire and podcast during the season. But again, they tell you that these guys make all this money so they can keep a value on the league, keep a value on these teams, keep you paying all this money for parking and popcorn and alcohol and merch and beer and all tickets. And it's just a value. These guys ain't making this kind of money. They ain't making this kind of money. It's a value. So these are the things that people should be talking about on the platform. I don't know why they're not, because it's so obvious. But it's easy to beat up on LeBron James and act like he's some dude that's, this is, to me, if he was able to do this on his own for all this long, it would be brilliant. This guy is basically running the NBA, telling them what he can do, what he can say, or how he can act. And there's no repercussions. This would be brilliant. If he owned the league, I guess, or he got away with it. But he's not that brilliant. This is all they got. And if they don't have this, their ass is in deep trouble. The NBA is over. I mean, they brought in another clown act, Bronny James. It's that bad. When Luka, Giannis, Joker, SGA can't even sell their own prime, they have to bring in a clown act. You think if the NBA said, no, don't draft Bronny. We want to just, continue to sell our league on greatness. Any 2020 guys I just said were providing greatness to sell the league. Ronnie won't be in the league. Y'all need to wake up and realize LeBron James ain't even behind 2% of this shit. LeBron James from the get-go, like Kobe said, this guy don't even like being a villain. He's the nice guy. But they made this dude a deal. The NBA, if you'll be the clown, we'll support you. We'll give you 2 extra MVPs on super teams. Oh boy. And then hopefully you can win 4 rings so you can be in some GOAT debate. Because you got 4 MVPs. Imagine he never gets those MVPs on those super teams. It's 2 MVPs. 2 MVPs. 4 super team championships. He ain't in no GOAT race. But they try to put him in the GOAT race. Remember, the guy plays in the weakest era of all time, from the 2010s to now. They put this guy in a GOAT debate. In the weakest era. 2 of the weakest eras of all time. That's what I'm saying, guys. This is not on him. This is on the owners and the Players Association. The NBA is that bad in ratings. This is all they have to offer you. A joke. Comedy. Because all of the media, the Shannon Sharps, the Nick, all these fools that have been talking for LeBron James, they're part of the comedy show. When they get done telling these lies and these jokes on TV, they turn it off air, and they start cracking up laughing. Watch these fools fight. Watch them actually believe that we believe what's coming out of our mouth. They don't even know this is all we got to keep this NBA afloat. Is trigger bait, a gimmick, a failure, a loser, a meltdown artist, a choke artist, a super team builder, low skill. This is all we got. But we can piss off fans to make them keep talking about it. Because this era fans, they only watch games, guys. Imagine if all these YouTube channels never rebutted none of this stuff, never went against it, never had their own platforms trying to go against the nonsense, the NBA would be dead. The NBA would be dead because this era don't watch games. Adam Silver already told you that. You can go watch highlights because what he's trying to say is true. The 2020 era fans don't watch the game. And everybody got mad, but he's referring to the ratings. He can tell you all he wants where you can catch the games at, whatever. Nobody's watching them. He literally told you what's happening. Nobody watches the game. They watch highlights. So he was being truthful. So again, if it wasn't for social media clapping back at the nonsense they say on TV, or just at LeBron's premeditated scripted shenanigans, then the NBA would be dead. It would be MLB. And guess the NBA will always be around. The MLB is around. NHL is around. In the NHL, they took their L, lowest ratings of all time, and they just kept going with the league. So the NBA ain't going nowhere. It'll just be a sports league that nobody watches. Yeah, people watch it just like they watch some of the MLB. What keeps the MLB, NHL, those leagues still going is because they got core fans. They got people that still go watch the games. Like the NBA, it don't matter what the ratings are. You still got the TV ratings. When you look, if you watch the TV and you look at, if you look at the arena, they're still doing good. They're still doing good. People are going to see the games. But to get the TV ratings, And they ain't got that no more. The MLB, the NHL, they don't have that no more. Americans aren't interested. Home viewership is big. It's bigger than arena fans going to the arena, because when you start to get that TV viewership, and you start to get millions and millions and millions and stuff like it was back in the 90s, the 80s, and stuff like that, you start to sell a lot of merch. You can charge people more for commercial time and all this stuff. But if nobody's watching your game, nobody's going to pay all that stuff, all that money to advertise on those slots. Look how much they charge just for a Super Bowl commercial. They know everybody's watching. Ain't nobody paying no money for no slot or no NBA game. It ain't worth it. How many people are watching? Now the Christmas games and the holiday games is the lowest ratings of all time. Nobody's interested, folks. And truly, I don't think that they can fix this. LeBron James is one thing, but when you don't have American players in the United States as the faces, the top 5 players, you're finished. To me, I think you're finished. Go look at MLB, go look at hockey. That's just the way it is. And it would be one thing if these were like, some of the greatest players we ever seen, these international players today. That's top 5, but it's not. It's not even close. Second close, third close, fourth close. It's not even that, folks. Like I used this analogy the other day. If you took a whole bunch of American players and just threw them over there in those Euro soccer leagues, and like the soccer league, 95% of it was American players. They don't really speak the language over there in whatever European country. They don't know the customs, the culture. They wasn't even born there. And on top of that, these 95% of these American soccer players that now run the league, 95% of them are American. Guess what? They're not even as good as the Euro soccer players back in the day. So let me ask you something. Do you really think those European people are going to keep watching that Euro soccer league? I mean, it's just nuts what they're trying to feed us. And the last thing is all for cheap labor. They're getting all these players for cheap labor, and they're trying to tell you that they're paying them all this money. Where's the money? Where's the money if the league is dying? Where's the money? If these guys got to go podcast, go get jobs when they retire, hell, they got to go play in the Euro League now. The top 5 players, they got to go play in the Euro League and make money. They supposed to be getting paid $40, $50, $60 million a year, and they can't rest for the next season. Y'all got to stop, man. A lot of people don't understand reality. The difference between reality and entertainment.